Warning, foul language may occur due to the subject matter. Hi there. This is the Old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world.
Welcome to the Old 77. We are a safe place.
In an unsafe world, Scott.
Hey, Matt, what's going on, brother?
How you doing?
Dave, you look a little confused over there, man. What's up?
I'm looking for my paper, dude, but I'm good. I'm good. If you want to email us.
Yes, if you want to email us at...
Hit us up at the old77podcast@gmail.com, and that's the old 77 podcast.
Yeah, 7.
And also go to our Patreon page.
And speaking of Patreon, a big, huge thanks to our Patreon subscribers today. We have one soul as of this recording, and that is Toby Dean. So thank you to Toby.
Thank you, brother.
So if you would like to become a sponsor of the show and have your name read here alongside Toby's, feel free to check us out. We are on patreon.com/the old77podcast. There it is, right there.
Yeah, baby.
So, fellas, how you feeling today?
Fantastic. I heard some great news that movie theaters are going to start back.
Dude, the local movie theater's coming back with new ownership, too.
So by the time this is heard, all this will be done already.
It should be back. Yeah,
but
full on.
AMC Theaters, their first night back across the country.
Yeah.
Tickets cost 15 cents. And they're celebrating their 100th anniversary.
Good for them.
Put the butts in the seats.
That's a pretty cool thing, man. That's a pretty cool nostalgic thing.
I'm going to be this asshole. At the same time, do you guys want to go and get elbow to elbow with some guy at a movie theater?
I so want to go to the movie theater again.
But
I want the experience.
No, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to control how many people go into the theater.
I think there has to be at least 2-3 seats between people now.
Yeah, I think most places are doing 25% capacity.
Yeah.
Tops.
It almost has to be, though. Even restaurants, I think restaurants would have a hard time with that, too.
Well, at least in a movie theater, you've got high ceilings. So, I mean, this is how I think about it. If you're ever in a closed-in space with somebody that's smoking a cigarette,
oh, absolutely,
there's no avoiding that smell. Well,
but at the same time, so then do you wear the mask the entire time you're watching the movie, or do you come in, sit down, take it off?
Well, I mean, I would leave it on, not because I'm concerned about me, but just out of courtesy for others around me.
But,
I mean, they're going to count how many people they can actually fit in there
in
with
our local
social distancing involved.
Yeah, our local theater, they're not going to have first-run movies. They're going to have Jaws and Back to the Future and all that stuff.
That's okay.
When they come back. That's great.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jaws in the big theater.
I'd love to see Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
One of those movies on the big screen again.
They were doing that before they
were doing it on
business.
every certain day.
Yeah, and 1 or 2 nights a week they'd go back and play an old, Back to the Future.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, there's some of my favorite movies are movies that I was too young to see in the theaters. I'd love to see some
during Christmas here locally.
Oh yeah.
They would play Wonderful Life, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation,
Die
Hard.
Yes.
Dude, I went last year and saw Die Hard.
I'm not surprised by that at
all.
I watched Die Hard 3 weeks ago with my parents while they were in town.
Did you?
I just watched Die Hard yesterday.
Yeah, that's your favorite Christmas movie, right, Scott?
Hey, motherfucker.
Do you know Alan Rickman's his right hand man in that movie, that blonde dude?
Yeah.
He's actually a ballerina.
Yeah, this was his first real acting gig.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They just thought he looked the part, so they threw him in.
Rest in peace, Alan Rickman.
Oh.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
I love that guy.
And did you also know that that's Alan Rickman's very first movie credit? Way to hit the ground running, Rickman.
No doubt. Well, he was a theater guy before that.
Yeah, huge theater dude.
Yeah.
So he had all that theater experience, but that's his very first movie.
He's an incredible actor.
Were you guys Game of Thrones fans? Did either of you guys watch Game of Thrones?
I never had HBO.
Yeah, I finished it out.
Yeah.
A
lot of the people in Game of Thrones, like the girl that played Maisie Williams, the girl that plays Arya Stark. That was her first.
The little girl.
I had no
right?
idea.
Yeah. I think there's a few of them that was basically their first gig, and most of the other ones are guys Bean is his last name.
Oh, Sean Bean.
Sean Bean,
who dies in everything.
Yeah, he died in that.
And spoilers.
Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Well, he dies in the first season.
Yeah,
he actually gets his head chopped off.
So a lot of those people.
Well, he's the whole reason that sets everything in motion, right? His death sets the entire thing rolling.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Betrayal of Sean Bean.
But he's somebody that is really really well known in the British, like the theater scene, but not so well known to most Americans.
I think he is more now, though.
Oh, for sure, all of those people are.
All those
British actors
great British
are
actors.
so much. They're just so much polished and.
But if
American
you need a
actors
villain,
are.
there's just something about that British accent that just kicks it up a notch for you.
What is it about Americans?
That guy
we
is a
love
villain.
accents.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody always makes fun of me because my Siri voice on my iPhone is an Australian female.
But it's weird though, because if you go over to Europe or Ireland or whatever, they love the American accent.
they love the
They're
American
like, oh, the
accent.
Americano.
Yeah. See, we think it sounds like distinguished. We think that British accent. I don't know, man. Something about
A lot
it.
of females find it very sexy.
Okay, so I saw you give me that look, Scott.
Yeah.
So I think I should have clarified. Like, it depends on exactly which part of Europe. they're
Right.
from.
I mean, it depends where you are if that's very distinguished. Because you're not having und happy.
Yeah.
Hey,
yes.
this is very distinguished.
Oh, Scott, look at Scott.
I just mean like a subtle English accent,
Right.
or like a subtle Irish accent.
Every woman out there
Oil beef
loves an
cooked.
Irish
That's all you
accent.
have to say.
That's
man.
how I feel about
I'm
Australian
sorry,
accents.
that's how it is.
There's something sexy about a girl with an Australian accent. I
And she
don't know what it
surfs.
is.
Oh yeah,
And she serves.
dominating 90-foot waves.
Yeah, she surfs for sure.
Steve, it's the crocodile hunter's daughter.
Yeah,
She grew up and
his son looks just like Steve.
right, and he's crazy like him too.
Yes.
He's doing nut job videos.
It's in his blood, dude.
I guess I've never watched.
Hope he
his
becomes
son
an old
before.
man.
I've watched his daughter.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever.
What was her
watched
name?
his son before.
Bendy.
That sounds right.
Bendy.
Sounds
Irwin?
Australian.
Yeah.
Because I just saw yesterday they said that she's getting married.
Yeah. I read that the other day too.
That dango ate your baby.
Oh, that dangoes.
What a hell of a way to go, man! The way Steve Irwin went.
But you know,
man, he was awesome. I love
Right.
that guy.
He did. He died doing what he loved.
I was in radio at the time, and I'd just done some creative campaign for like a local something. I don't even remember what it was. But I used a crocodile hunter impersonation, and then I went on vacation. And that Saturday, Steve Irwin died, and I found out in some rad hole motel in like northern Indiana, right? Because we were going through, and we had to find a place to stay. And I'm like, oh my god, I killed Steve Irwin.
Oh, man.
I did this horrible campaign with his voice,
And of all things, everything dangerous that he messed with.
and that's
a
what killed
stingray
him.
got him.
Stingray.
But in the water, he was out of his element. He couldn't hop around, get out
I
of
guess,
there.
man,
true,
it just
yeah.
shot up and.
Yeah.
Did he scare it or
From
something?
what I heard, somebody
idea.
came up behind him or whatever, but somehow it frightened him, and he just shot him right in the heart.
Because they're usually like docile.
Yeah. Well, I remember after
Not
that,
very
the
aggressive.
Australian government was like issuing warnings to people, telling them not to go out and like cut the barbs off stingrays.
Yeah, probably everybody was
because they were
pissed.
going out and doing that.
Yeah.
People were just bloodbathing
Oh my
stingrays.
God.
Yeah.
Idiots.
That's people.
I remember last time I went to the
Really?
with my kids,
Uh-huh.
man.
Sorry.
They had stingray, like little stingrays in little tanks, and you
Oh,
could touch them.
but they don't have the barbs on them.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of those barbs have been removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we did that in St. Louis the other day, the other day. Here a while back. You
Yeah.
can touch them and all that.
At SeaWorld?
We did that too.
With SeaWorld, I mean, I went to SeaWorld
SeaWorld.
once. I will never go back.
I am never going back
Was
to
the
SeaWorld.
experience bad, or is it because of the conditions at SeaWorld?
because I watch Blackfish
Yeah, man.
and I'm done with it. The orcas do not belong in a fucking swimming pool.
No.
It's like a pond.
It
really.
is.
for something
that's
that
where they're
big.
at.
And then you
Right.
wonder why it kills its trainer? Because
Right.
it's fucking pissed off.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree, man.
They're
All
the
you have to
cousin.
do is look at AFV to wonder why animals attack.
Well,
Right.
they're actually related to dolphins.
Yeah.
They're in the same family.
They're actually more closely related to dolphins than they are whales,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is interesting.
So yes, they are very intelligent.
Yeah.
They know where they're at. It's basically a jail cell.
Yeah, I have a theory that
It's messed up.
I have a theory that some of those animals, like dolphins specifically, I have a theory that they are just as intelligent as humans.
Oh,
Their-
I think
their
that.
brains are actually bigger than human brains, but they're not intelligent in the same way we are. Like, they don't have hands, they
Yeah.
don't have opposable thumbs, they can't build shit. But I mean, look at their brains, man.
Do you
They got
know
some big brains?
Orcas and dolphins, they're the only mammal to
Yeah.
like have sex for fun.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
all right, I've
Like-
heard that
Well,
before.
and there's only one
They
other
ma-
species that does that. We're it.
I think monkeys do too, though.
I don't know though. Well, maybe.
Do you know
But not
dolphins
to the-
actually trip off of blowfish?
I've
There's a
heard
chemical
that.
in blowfish
I
where
love
they
that.
just like trip out.
Yeah,
They
and
use it as a drug.
and
Right.
like they keep going back to it.
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
want more and
Yeah.
more.
But the thing
They'll
is,
scare it first,
like,
so
I-
it pops up, and then they start.
so whatever comes out of this blowfish, they did a study on it. Like just a little tiny
Yeah.
bit of this stuff can kill like 30 humans.
Well, there you go.
They're getting just the right amount. There.
Right. They know what they're doing, apparently.
Yeah,
that would totally be me, though, as a dolphin.
Yeah, they've probably been doing it for a long time.
Hey, check that guy out over there. I'm going to scare the hell out of him and get high.
I'm going to pull him off his surfboard.
Then I'm going to go talk to this guy like the incredible Mr. Limpet.
Yeah, could you imagine like your first interaction with a dolphin and it's like tripping on acid?
Right.
You're in
hey,
the
man,
middle.
What's going on over there? Nothing, dolphin. What's up with you?
Do you
Tripping
guys know
balls.
about the guy who was experimenting with psychedelics and dolphins and was like communicating with them?
No, but I have heard a story about a gal who worked for it was some dolphin rescue.
Mhm.
Yeah. And she like lived with this dolphin and basically had sex with it.
Yeah,
Like
or
She
like
had sex with a dolphin.
Yeah, like that was part of her thing.
it
like,
would make she would make it ejaculate.
yeah, like she
Jesus.
would come over and give, I guess for lack of a better word, give this dolphin a handy. She had a whole relationship with a dolphin, like just to try and study them.
She's going to bring out a book.
I listened to that on NPR. Could
She's-
you imagine that,
Oh, my
bringing
God.
that up to a boyfriend?
Ugh.
Oh, I'm
My
sorry.
last relationship was with Flipper.
I'm sorry. I can't open tuna cans anymore. It's too much.
Okay, so the lady you're talking about, Scott, is Margaret Ho Lovett.
Yes, Margaret.
So she was the one.
She was the one.
So the
yeah.
guy that I'm trying to
Okay.
think of is John C. Lilly.
What else does it say there, Dave, about
With
the situation?
with
Oh,
so there's an article called "The Dolphin Who Loved Me."
They have sexual urges. I'm sure Peter had plenty of thoughts along those lines.
is it really titled that?
Yeah. This is from the Guardian. I'll read around and I'll try to give you guys some of the highlights.
Oh my goodness.
That's got it. So you got to bring that up, and when
She was funded by NASA.
when
by
your
the way.
speed
What?
date, of course she was.
The whole thing was funded by NASA.
Cool.
Dolphin was madly in love with her.
Margaret.
I've heard Joe Rogan reference this.
What
this
would
program
NASA
a bunch
need
of times.
with dolphins? It's to bring like
Dolphins of space.
splash down capsules to alert them where the capsules splash down at. But other than that, what would NASA have used for dolphins?
So the same guy.
Sure, man. I guess it's just research.
Well, they're the closest maybe alien species that we have.
They might be aliens. man.
Maybe learn to communicate.
So he was trying. John C. Lilly was trying to communicate with dolphins and like learn, how to speak in their language.
Okay.
And
What year did he do that? Like recently?
I
or-
know this was, I think, in the '60s.
So-
Yeah, that
What-
sounds like an episode of Scooby-Doo, to be honest. The dude down by the water with the microphone.
Yeah.
Right.
So when did this woman have a relationship with the dolphins?
I think that was all late '60s.
Yeah, that
or
would have been
early to
67.
Oh, this is
Too.
back in the day then.
Because that was before Nick.
So could you imagine it even back, like now I'm sure it's frowned upon,
Yeah.
Dolphin lady sex. Ugh.
There's like
I
a
don't know.
sign on the
But in
door.
the
It's like,
60s?
do not disturb.
So the same guy that I'm talking about, John C. Lilly, he also is the guy that invented the isolation tank.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
All
here's
right,
here.
all
I'll
right.
just give you one paragraph.
Thanks, jerk.
I know that. I know that dude.
So today, his excesses receive as much attention as his achievements. He invented the world's first sensory deprivation tank, but almost drowned in it while high on psychedelics. He also pioneered
Makes
the
a lot of
field.
sense.
He also pioneered the field of dolphin communication, helping enact the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972. But his lab's unorthodox experiments, like jerking
Yeah.
off dolphins to completion and injecting them with LSD,
Injecting the dolphins.
ultimately discredited
God.
the field for decades.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, if you guys that are listening, Google John C. Lilly. There's all kinds of interest.
2 years ago on NPR,
I've heard
they were talking
You know
about
what,
it.
Dave? Copy her name and then like put it into YouTube real quick. See if there's an interview with her.
See if we can find.
I'm sure there
Yeah.
is. Like, you want to see what she looks like?
Yeah, I want to see what.
Yeah, I want to see what the.
Here's what she looks like.
I want
and
to see what her story's about.
I
you
think
go.
she is still alive.
Yeah, she's. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she's.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure that's a fairly
Oh
current
man,
photograph.
that's a current photo.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Because if this happened in the '60s, man, he's got a problem.
He's
that
got it
dolphin.
rough.
Yeah, he's probably traumatized forever, man.
Poor Flipper.
He's got a nana complex.
So the lady's name is Margaret Ho
a gilf.
Lovett.
Peter liked to be with me. He would rub himself on my knee or my foot or my hand or whatever, and I allowed that. I wasn't uncomfortable with that, as long as it wasn't too rough.
Peter had caused Margaret some minor injuries on her legs and stuff of pushing like an obsessed suitor.
There's an article on the Independent. Called "Scientists Once Gave Dolphins LSD in an Attempt to Communicate."
So
with
was
them.
she the one that was shooting him up with LSD too?
I think that her and Lily were both participating in that, and they were both trying to open communication.
Get a free high with every low.
That's right.
I didn't talk to Peter the way I talked to you. I spoke in single words usually, and made inflection, something that he could follow. That they were very good at. The enunciation was not good, but if I said 1, 2, 3, I wouldn't get 1, 2, 3, but I would get
1, 2, 3.
Have you guys ever seen the Ricky Gervais stand-up bit about homosexuality in the animal kingdom?
Oh, if anyone, I mean, look at your dogs. Yeah.
Right.
No, I haven't.
So he actually was talking about these two species of either whale or dolphin, where a male will penetrate another male's blowhole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious.
It's the peak of scientific knowledge from Ricky Gervais.
It's hilarious, dude. You gotta. I'll have to pull it up and share it with you guys sometime. I'll save you the time today, but it's fucking hilarious.
I wish I could. But going back to that whole thing, like orcas, dolphins, they belong in the wild.
Well, of course, absolutely.
I mean, just watch Nat Geo.
Right.
Come on. The way they hunt, I mean, they hunt in packs.
Right.
And do you feel the same way about just zoos in general?
Mm-hmm.
Zoos too, man.
I mean, you have endangered species out in the wild. You need to preserve, for the good of the species.
Just to keep them around.
Say there's like 6 left, okay? Put all of those guys in a zoo. It's going to suck for them, but they may bring back the entire species.
Yeah.
Not like tigers. I heard it's a statistic watching Joe Exotic where there's more tigers like captivated and bred in the United States than there is in captivity.
It's ridiculous.
That's.
And then you're
you mean that more than there is in wild, right? Is that what you mean?
There's more in captivity than there. Yes, I'm sorry. There's more in captivity than there is in the wild.
Yeah.
And that's just in the United States.
It's depressing, man.
So think about this: if we do have an apocalypse and shit goes to hell in a handbasket, we're gonna have tigers to worry about.
Yeah. We're gonna be at the bottom of the food chain again,
right?
What was really messed up about that whole thing? They were
Joe Exotic.
Yeah, they were feeding like these tigers like Walmart steaks and like
all rotten Walmart
beef.
meat.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then some of those people were eating it. They made a pizza from it.
A gay man in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and that's not even the weird story.
Hey, are you guys gonna try to watch?
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
just the tip.
Are you guys gonna try to watch the documentary on Hulu, the one that's called "Surviving Joe Exotic"?
Nah.
I'm done with it.
I've
had my.
There's a
my
couple
share
good
of Joe Exotic.
There's a couple good Epstein documentaries on Hulu too.
Was there?
Yeah,
there's
there
one.
was. But if I remember right, they put 2 out at the same time. There was a Netflix and a Hulu one, and the Netflix was like
far better,
more accurate.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Hulu one.
I haven't either.
I think I'm good with Epstein. Whatever happened there.
That just is what it is right now.
But now you can only just learn from it,
right?
And now just try to correct it.
I've been seeing
you have to just be vigilant. You have to keep your eyes open. You have to think those horrible scenarios so you can keep your eye on your kids that way.
Because that's still going on every day.
That's the lesson I learned from Epstein. That
and usually
I have to look at my 6-year-old and go, somebody's wanting to bang her.
Yeah.
Or steal her.
Right.
And
usually,
sell her off. Yeah.
And that's why I have to think that way so I can protect her. So I can look at other dudes. Right. So I can look at other dudes.
Because chances are, if something like that does happen to your child, it's somebody that they know. Oftentimes it's another family member.
But you know what?
Which makes it even more horrific.
Now that I'm aware of it, I catch more and more and more older guys when we go out looking at my daughter.
Really?
And I hate it.
Yeah.
We were at a Quick Trip the other day in Wentzville. We were taking our nephew home, and we stopped, and there was some old guy that looked like my uncle, who's long gone, who had sideburns. My uncle wore denim all the time, sideburns everywhere, smoked those little skinny cigars. You know, he was a cool dude.
Yeah.
But this guy looked just like him. It's who he reminded me, and he was just eye banging my kid the whole time.
Anytime I go to a public pool,
and before I probably wouldn't have caught that, but now I catch that.
It's
I don't like it.
She's 6.
She's 6, exactly.
And
she's 6. What are you looking at? That's what I want to say.
I think your average person is pretty naive to that stuff, but
disturbing.
I think about that stuff simply because I worked in a prison for 6 years.
You were exactly.
So I've been around those people.
You kind of. So you probably and. just picked up how they think.
Yes.
Or just being around them experienced how they think.
And they're often just very charming people,
Right.
that you never would expect would do something like that.
Exactly.
Same thing can be said for rapists. You know
what? Anybody can have a bad day.
Sure.
Anybody can snap. You can have the worst 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a lifetime. You can have it, but it just takes 1 second.
Right.
For you to do something that you can regret,
And you know what? Most of those guys that did violent things, heat of the moment, passion, most of those guys can be rehabilitated.
Did you experience a lot of regret there, or did you experience a lot of just baseless remorse?
Most of the time I didn't talk to guys like specifically about their cases. There were some that would come up to me and talk about
just very openly,
like they're they got a lawyer.
You're always going to find those guys.
Yeah, they got a lawyer that's trying to get them out, that's trying to get the case thrown out.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, to answer your question, I never really had anybody come up to me and just like,
But a lot of those guys are sociopaths. I mean, look at Ted Bundy. He had the charisma of a Hollywood actor.
Yeah,
Right.
I definitely worked
absolutely.
around. I
He had
worked
the
around
looks,
a lot of sociopaths.
Absolutely.
He represented himself in court.
People
a lot
that
of those
have-
guys have like these two faces to them.
Yeah,
man.
and generally
Two
they
different
have
personalities.
They usually have like no empathy.
Right.
That's just it right
I
there.
mean,
No
how
empathy.
can you do something like that?
disassociate yourself from
Yeah,
it.
how can you do something like that?
Now, don't get me
to a
wrong,
child,
man. If
especially?
somebody was coming after my kid, or if they was coming after mine, you
Yeah.
don't think I would protect them? I'd kill for my kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd take a bullet for my kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
but
most
to
of us
go out
would.
and do that
Yeah,
actively
absolutely.
to a kid, like you guys were telling me a story I haven't even heard
Yeah.
yet.
There was a 5-year-old child.
Where was this? Was this?
Where was that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up real
Yeah.
quick. I'm gonna look it up.
But
You
there was a
guys-
5-year-old white child, and I hate to bring race into it, but
He was shot outside his house in front of his siblings.
oh man,
Cannon Hennant was his name.
Yeah, Cannon.
Cannon Cannon Hennant, which is H-I-N.
Yeah, he was shot by
and where,
some dude
Where was this?
right outside his house and wherever that is.
In wherever
is
he
it
lived.
Texas?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, I'm
That's
sorry.
still bad.
Yeah, it's bad anywhere.
Exactly, but
It's not getting any news coverage whatsoever.
Well, North Carolina is pretty, pretty racist to begin with. I feel
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of that.
there's a lot of that racism that's
On
right
both
there.
sides.
On both sides, absolutely. I'm not saying that racism doesn't pick a side. It's just you're a racist no matter what.
Yeah.
And you know
And
what?
it's taught.
It's
It's not. You're not born with it. It's
I
taught.
100% agree with that.
I agree that it's taught, but it's also in the environment. If it's in your environment, you grow up around it, then it just becomes every day.
Yeah, and it's
You know?
not even anything that somebody directly teaches you,
Right.
but you pick up on it. Dude, I can think of plenty of examples of kids that I grew up with.
Oh, I
whose
grew
parents
up.
whose parents would say racist things.
I grew up in a racist household.
Yeah.
My father was a racist dude, but my dad
Yell at
actually
him for-
experienced all of that crap, all that racism crap, and the backlash from it. Like, he was a Boilermaker, so every place, like the Lock and Dam in Alton, Illinois, he built the boilers that heat everything up to raise and lower the water. The power plant in Coffeen, Illinois, he helped build the stack for that. He built numerous generators and shit. My dad worked with his hands,
Yeah.
left and right. Like, he was a little guy. I remember he'd always tell stories of getting and squeezing into places, and he'd have like a 10-pound grinder laying on his chest.
Jesus.
And he'd have no place to move it. It would be literally inches from his face. It
Like
could
death,
kill him,
instant death.
just cut his throat,
Yeah.
and he'd be grinding away.
Damn.
You know, he'd tell stories of climbing up, and like there'd be an exhaust. You know, you'd be 150 feet in the air at Alton, and he'd climb up, and there'd be an exhaust. You'd have to wait 15 minutes on the ladder, or this thing would fry you. And then you'd have to go up. And he's like, we got people that got hurt there all the time because they were trying to beat it.
Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of that was before you had,
This was
workplace
before.
safety.
This was before OSHA.
before OSHA.
Yeah.
He remembers climbing. Well, he remembered climbing up 600 feet in the air on a rope, and then when they got to the bottom of the rope, it was tied at the top. They would tug it. They would just throw it up in the air, and that rope would come flying
Oh my
down.
God.
And they had climbed 12 of them climbing 600 feet down.
That's a different generation.
Like that's
then, man.
he was a man's man.
Yeah.
Like, and my whole life I've been chasing after that guy, but he was such a racist prick, and he was an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
Like my dad was a dick. Like,
Yeah.
And he had just become paralyzed like when I was born, so it was even worse. Growing up now, I know better. But
Yeah.
But I mean, the dude, it's a whole other thing. But I feel as a result of that, I have racist tendencies. but I'm not racist.
Right.
So,
Like, I
so
can
elaborate
fake
on that.
So, like, my dad would always complain that black guys were lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, like, I always think that, but I never would say that because I know better. I know so many black and brown friends of mine that are not lazy. It's such a stereotype.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It's totally. Yeah.
It's absolutely. But I
absurd.
always have that in the back of my head. I always hear it
Because
about things. Because my dad and my grandpa and my dad's twin brother.
I didn't have anybody in my family that was openly racist, but you know, I remember like going over to a friend's house when I was a kid. Like one of the most common phrases I would hear from kids and their parents was, "I'm not a racist, but," and then they would say something like, "There's black people, and then there's the N-word."
Yeah.
Things like that. I would hear shit like that all the time.
Well, and then later, did you ever hear people try to justify using the N-word? Oh, well, everyone can be one. White people are too.
No, they're not. Every race has their own bottom of the barrel.
Well, did you guys ever know where it came from?
Well, I know that the N-word is a reference to what language is it? In Spanish, Negro, it means black.
It means black.
I know that.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, and I would work with my hands, my grandpa was an old-timey guy, and he grew up working in the South. He grew up horse and buggy.
Yeah.
And we would break open like big rocks. Like if we had rocks laying around, Grandpa would always knock them out. Those were called in-heads because they were useless and you couldn't do anything with them.
Yeah.
And that's what he would always call them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was permeated into
his everyday culture.
So he learned it from
And so he
his
learned
father,
it from
right?
his father,
Right.
who probably learned it from his father.
So is that where the word's
And
from?
that's where I always assumed that word had come from.
I'd
I'd never heard that anywhere other than there.
Yeah.
I never really had the interest to see where it's from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not it's an awful word.
It's basically you use it for leftovers. It's
Yeah.
nothing. You can't do anything with it.
How about that?
And I'm sorry, but when people
That's not right.
No, that's awful.
When I hear white people say, you know, that being called a honky or a cracker is
I'm sorry.
offensive.
To me, that's not offensive.
It's not because we don't have the same history that
Exactly.
black people do. We don't have the history of being oppressed.
After
and
everything my people have called your people, you have every right to call me a cracker.
I don't even find that offensive
I
at
don't
all.
find that offensive at all.
yeah, it depends on the context, man. But it's
I
just
find it humorous.
it's just like, you know,
So do I.
with the George Floyd thing and the rioting and all of that, man. I protested. I went to the Capitol and protested after George Floyd died. Most of the people that are doing that are good people, you know. But we were talking about this off air before, man. The media likes to, because they know they get higher ratings if they show the most extreme sides of
Yeah.
the
Like
left or
these
the
fascist assholes,
Yes.
Antifa people burning cities down to the ground.
But at the same time, you have to show that too.
right. Well, you got to give people the correct information, man.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we talked about before, though. That it seems like every outlet now has a slant to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. CNN being one of them.
CNN's
dude.
always had a slant.
They have, but dude,
They've always had
this
one.
past
Come
5
on.
I
years.
mean, they're Ted Turner.
Yeah.
They were owned by Ted Turner and
Right.
started. They've always had a bit of a slant.
dude-
Every major cable
Yeah.
now. When they went to cable in 24 hours is
Yeah.
when the slant came, I feel like.
But
Ratings, man, ratings.
I
Right.
do feel like CNN is way more slanted than they used to be. They're even worse.
Well, I remember Fox being fair and balanced.
yeah,
It is not fair and balanced.
I always found that
They're
that
both,
slogan
and they
to be
both lean
ironic.
very much to the right and left.
Everyone has their own slants now. They lean here, they lean there.
So who do you guys trust? Like, if you guys want to get like the most neutral point of view, what news sources do you guys are on your short list?
For local news,
Either way.
for local news, I trust pretty much anything Brian Houseworth and Missouri Net puts out.
Yeah, he's a
Just
good dude.
because I know those guys will
Yeah.
take the time and they will fact check the absolute
They have
hell out of
integrity.
everything.
Yeah.
They still have integrity to
Yeah.
where some of these bigger newsrooms don't.
So what about-
anymore.
It's called journalism.
It
Right.
is. And
So-
they do it well there.
So
Right.
what about bigger news outlets? Are there any bigger news outlets that you guys feel like you do trust largely?
No, are you
or-
talking print or just media in general?
Either or, man. I got a couple that pop into my mind if you want me to share.
Go for it. I mean, I like the New York Times a lot. I feel like they get some stuff right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying for like my local news. I'm talking for like national stuff. I feel like they're kind of there on the pulse a little.
I feel like NPR.
I definitely love NPR.
NPR, I go BBC as well.
Yeah, BBC, Reuters is another one.
I love to do BBC just simply because, and I don't do the BBC America. You have to go BBC One.
You have
to, to see what those people are thinking.
To see the outside view. And I've even started listening to Al Jazeera, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, every once in a while I flip over to Fox too, just for that same reason. Because
just for that,
I want to get all perspectives and hopefully come to the most educated.
That's what I try to do. I try to absorb it all.
Yeah.
To where I can get an educated opinion, at least form an educated opinion. I use a thing on my phone called Flipboard, and I can control what comes. And
you told me about that.
We were talking about this before, and I have both conservative and a liberal view coming.
Right.
And it's funny when you run across the same story on the slants.
Yep, absolutely, man. And all sides are guilty of it.
Right, every one of them.
I just keep thinking about Flipper.
I actually put a white makeup, thick white and black around my mouth, so that when I was talking to him or teaching a word, he could really see my blowhole, as it were, and I would really use my mouth with this makeup on it. And his eye was in air looking at my mouth. I mean, there's no question about it. He wanted to know, where is that noise coming from? What is that sound?
Fish in bucket.
Flipper swimming over for a handy. Hey, it's been about 12 hours.
It's all about me.
Got a blue fin.
I'll do a trick for you.
Wrong kind of trick, Flipper. So if you would like to join us here on the Old 77, feel free to pick up the phone and give us a call at 573-246-0779.
Or you can email us at the old77podcast@gmail.com.
All I can think
or
of is
check out our Patreon page
the
at
blue.
patreon.com/the Old 77 podcast.
Yes, absolutely. There. You can check us out there, get all of our subscription plans and tiers. Become a subscription fan of the show.
Yeah. Like us on Apple.
Yeah.
And anywhere else where you can rate us, give us a thumbs up on Spotify. I don't know if you can still do that or not.
While we're at break, we're going to take a break here in just a minute. While we're at break, I'll tally up where we're all at, and then we can come back and we'll say where we're at.
Give some shout outs.
Yeah, we'll give some shout outs too.
Sound good.
So we'll take a break. See you guys on the other side.
In the beginning, when he would get rambunctious and have this need, I would put him on the elevator and say, you go play with the girls for a day.
Call or text the Old 77 listener line at 573-246-0779. Help ensure future episodes by becoming a sponsor today. To find out how, email the Old 77 podcast@gmail.com.
Your memories. Pregnancy, kids growing up, family, senior year of high school, getting engaged. You want to keep those moments forever. But the problem with most photographers is they decide which moments you keep. They'll sell you a single picture or a big all-inclusive package that might include photos you don't want at a cost that's outside of your budget. That's why I don't. You decide. A single photo, a single hour, you choose. You get all your edited photos, everything, at Andrew Marie Photography. You get quality photos at prices you can afford. After all, they're your memories. Find us on Facebook, Andrew Marie Photography and Custom Design.
Hey guys, Matt and Scott here from the Old 77. Just wanted to take a moment and say, have you heard about Anchor yet?
It's a great way to do a podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, Anchor's got all of this stuff for you. You get analytics. We're online, everywhere. Apple, Google, and they did all of that for us. We didn't have to submit anything.
Nope. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Right, so no computer, no problem.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome back to the Old 77. It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
So we were talking before the break. Here is every platform that you can find the old 77 on.
Okay.
We are on Anchor, Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Google Play, iHeart Podcasts, TuneIn, and Pandora. We are also on YouTube.
So I hate to say it,
So
but if you can't find us, man, you might be a moron.
There's three. There's three options there that I've not even heard about before.
Well, and I was telling you guys too before we started. Also, I found out that if you're on Apple Podcasts and Google, there's some smaller guys that are trying to start up that are basically just scraping all their info, and so we're on a lot of those too.
That's cool. Whatever.
So hey, I'm down.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can find us anywhere.
And our numbers are reflective. We have over, what was it, Matt?
700 and some?
No, it was 800.
It's over
nice.
800, I think.
And that's in 3.5 months.
And that's 3 months. We have waiting for it to load.
And mind you, this is from nothing.
This is from the ground up. So we have at this moment 828 unique listens. So
So thank you, everybody.
That's awesome.
Wherever you may be.
That's
and that
terrific.
And that doesn't even reflect everything right now too, because we're further out and we have further analytics from Google. We have analytics from Apple as well. So yeah, that's just a nice little slice of the analytical pie for you.
So are those listens over there, are those just people that are listening to us on Anchor?
No, so this here is Anchor, Spotify, and everything that Anchor distributes us on.
Gotcha.
So that big list that I just read, a good chunk of that.
Most of those.
Yeah, it's most of those. Minus like the tune-ins and now the Apples, because we have ownership of our Apple podcast now. So all the info, everything comes straight to us.
Nice.
We also have a Google page now too, a Google business page. You can go and literally review us there. Yeah, we're everywhere, man.
Or send us a check too, right?
Yeah, you can go right to our Patreon page too. Yeah. And like Matt and I have said in previous episodes, we have a combined 40 years of experience in radio and broadcasting and making commercials.
Right.
So we know how to help your business grow and make it sound good.
So did you guys hear about here in Jeff City that Riverwalk's going to be completed by 2021, the summer of 2021?
Dude, so we're in the middle of a pandemic. Did you see how they opened it? They did the breaking in ceremony or whatever, and they had the gal who donated the money.
Yeah.
She's like in her 90s out there. Everyone had no mask. They were all huddled around her. All I could think of was this poor gal's going to croak.
It was independently funded.
Right. She gave like $3 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Single-handedly brought it to life.
I didn't see that it was going to be done by 2021, but I saw a picture of like the ribbon cutting.
What is this thing? Adrian's Island?
So
that's what it's called.
So it's going to start from where the Capitol grounds are.
Yeah.
Like over there by like the
where will the
memorials and
bridge
stuff
be?
like that.
Right.
It's going to go like parallel with the river and down to the island. What's that island's name?
Adrian's
Island.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it floods much down there.
It has to.
There's technology where like if you have some kind of dock down there, it just kind of goes with the water.
I would think a dock would float with it, yeah.
You would think that if they're going to throw that much money into it, they've already thought about that.
I saw the virtual tour, and it's pretty cool.
I need to go look at that.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am.
It's going to be a great add-on to the
I remember when it all happened,
thing.
everybody complained because it was all grant money and privately funded, and everybody's like, well, we could spend that money elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like, well, we had to use it or lose it, you know.
Yeah. And
so
they need to
matched
invest.
it, and
They
matched
do.
it, and then all this.
And that was the first thing I noticed when I got here at the Jeff City 10 years ago was they don't utilize the waterfront at all.
No.
Right.
Well, it's a different era, though.
And I get it. The train tracks are there and whatnot, but like you can really work around that.
Yeah.
Right.
You can bring a ton of people out
Well,
there.
they have stuff on the other side.
Well,
like my family goes down to the access.
That's just what I was going to say,
Yeah.
man. That access, there's always a ton of people
They
down there.
love going down
they
there.
could have had riverboat gambling like 20 years ago, but they
there were
passed up on it.
At least in my lifetime, there were at least 2 occasions where they voted it down. Yeah.
I understand it. It's that small town mentality, though. We got to keep the small town.
Right.
But at the same time, Boonville now has, their roads are banging. They've got money.
They got to grow, man.
Yeah.
People were concerned, that it was going to bring in crime
But the same
all
people
of that.
complained about a Cirillas, too. And there's been a Cirillas in town as long as I've been here, and there's no crime.
You can make that argument.
Everything's fine.
You can make that argument and say, oh, well, that'll bring in crime. But also, I think it
We'll
gets
bring
you
in
away
crime.
from crime. It gets you away from crime because there's more jobs open.
Well, it's easier
Yeah,
to fight
right.
crime when you have money.
Because once you have that built on your riverside, other things are going to
Other
establish
businesses.
itself.
But you know what it all boils down to? You need to realize, do I or we as a group or as a community, do we want this here or not? Back then, they didn't want it.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
a different demographic
It was
now.
a moral issue for them now.
Right.
It's silly now to look back
Yeah.
and think morally because we're not a small town. We are the capital of the state. We should have something like that here.
Absolutely.
It was only until a few years ago, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that's listening, but I'm pretty sure up until not that long ago, you couldn't sell like smoking accessories in Jeff
here,
City.
yeah. I
I'm
believe that.
talking about like accessories that would probably be used to smoke cannabis with.
You know, like
For the longest time, I think that stuff had to be out of city limits. And
I believe
then
that.
And then they finally changed that.
well,
so.
I'd always heard that there was a store here in town.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There was a dude just opened up a sex shop
Yep.
in his house.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
I know the guy you're talking
That's
about.
crazy. Is
I
he
don't
still
know.
around?
I don't
The
think
shop's
so.
not around.
No, the shop's not.
No, I'm talking about him.
Shop's actually for sale right now,
Do
so
you-
you could
sh-
buy it if you wanted.
It's a house, isn't
yeah.
it?
Should we say his name or should we not say it? Or the name of the shop?
You could. I don't know it.
It was called Shackles Secrets. and
What a
and
name.
So
Dave,
here's
remember? Did
Yeah.
you go in there?
Oh hell no.
Oh,
no.
okay.
But
I heard it was sketchy.
It was a big deal for a while because people in the neighborhood were pissed.
Oh well, I heard after a while though, and this is all before I moved here.
So when
so it's all secondhand. But I heard
Okay.
there was actually dancers and stuff in the basement at one time.
I believe I've heard the same.
and
yeah.
they got called, like the cops got called on them because
Yeah.
they were.
So was it like
they
a
were
brothel?
performing.
Well, supposedly it was just a sex shop, sex toys and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
guess. But here's the really creepy thing, guys. Here's the really creepy thing. Do you guys want to know how he came up with the name Shackles Secrets?
Was that his last name?
He combined his two daughters' names.
Oh, I'd heard that.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's really strange.
Yeah. I'm guessing the Kel part is maybe
And it just came to be Shackles.
Ding, 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 ding,
All right.
ding,
right.
ding, ding.
pretty creepy. And
So you kind of pretty over there.
Yeah. Welcome to Jeff City.
And so I guess maybe it was like a zoning issue because there are other businesses that are right along.
But you
the
know
road.
what? He wasn't in city limits.
Hey, by the way, my next door neighbor, he has a sex shop.
Right down from the auto body shop.
Yeah.
Right.
For real.
Get your body worked on, and then get something for your body.
Well, I'm
make a hard left.
Hey man, when you
Hang,
think double-fisted dildo, think of
Jesus.
Shackleton.
Yeah.
And my two daughters. Ooh,
Jesus, that's
God.
so odd.
I don't know the story because it's not there anymore, and I really don't know why it's not there anymore. If
I
they-
drove by it for a while, and whoever lived in it before it was for sale now had a D on the door. Like it was their last name, and I always laughed every time.
Nice. Big D right on
Right,
the front
right.
door.
I mean, we are a conservative town, but it's more progressive than it ever has been, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And we're a conservative town because we're the state capital.
Well, we're in Missouri.
That's true.
Missouri's a very conservative state.
Most of the reps.
It's a red state.
Right, we're a very red state.
I mean, if you look at most elections, at least national elections in Missouri, the only counties that are blue usually are Boone County, which is Columbia, and then the counties over St. Louis and Kansas City.
Oh, yeah,
All
yeah.
the other counties
Well-
are always red, and it's like that in most
the
whole-
parts of the Midwest.
So I'm from Illinois, and my entire downstate area was very, very Republican. They were very
Yeah.
conservative.
Sure.
But because of Chicago, they got overrode. And here it's just, I feel like it's kind of just the same a little
Yeah.
with Kansas City. But, in between gets their way a lot of the time, too.
Yeah.
But the thing I find weird, especially with Missouri and Southern Illinois, from where I'm from, and just from covering the news myself, is, and I'll use the Medicaid expansion for example. It just passed in Missouri.
Right.
So there's people here in Jeff City that will get Medicaid now for the first time. They will get health insurance.
Right.
These are the same people that possibly voted down for it. And it was only passed in the state because of Kansas City and St. Louis.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Well, I can't remember if we talked about this on
I
air,
don't get
but
how why would you vote for something that will help you and you voted against it? I don't get that.
Sorry about that.
that happens a lot. It's happened a lot recently in Missouri where amendments and things like that are often viewed as liberal,
Right.
like Medicaid
and you
expansion.
and people sneak things in with
Yeah.
with amendments. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, no, what I was getting at is that those amendments and things have been passing a lot recently but yet Missouri keeps electing Republican senators. Claire McCaskill lost.
Right.
Blaine Luetkemeyer is the other.
That's a local one.
Yeah,
it comes to mind.
Is another one. He's a Republican. So somehow Missouri keeps voting for more, I guess you could say, liberal amendments and things like that, but not candidates.
Right.
So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
I find that strange.
I think people just...
And it happened back home, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say back home. This is home. But it happened back there as well.
Yeah. I think especially people these days on both sides of the aisle are just tired of people that's been in... Well, people that have been in office for years and years and even generations and generations. I think people on both sides of the aisle are getting tired of that because you're starting to see more non-incumbents winning primaries.
Mm-hmm.
I still say, though, Missouri's own Mark Twain said it best when politicians and babies' diapers should be changed often and for the same reasons.
Right.
I agree with that.
Talk
That's a smart man right there.
Right. Yeah, he was a very smart man.
Oh, Sam.
Mark Twain.
Also said he'd just rather I'd just rather be in bed all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
He's a great writer.
Sarah and I actually stayed in a place in Hannibal.
Yeah.
It's an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm. I like those.
And Mark Twain actually stayed.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So you slept where Twain slept.
He was friends with the original owner.
Did you wake up feeling cranky, hating kids?
No.
Pissy a little?
I felt like
smarter than everyone else.
No, I just woke up and an urge to drink bourbon more.
Yeah. But
all right, I'll give you that one.
Right.
That doesn't matter where you sleep, though. Man.
It was cool. There was a lot of history there, and
I love that. And
they
there's
had
tons of history.
A bunch of Mark Twain there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse James. He used to hide in the caves in Missouri. If you
Sullivan.
Yeah, Sullivan. Is it Merrimack Caverns that he used to use as a hideaway?
You guys ever taken that tour?
Yeah, actually, I was just there a couple years ago, I believe. Yeah, and once or twice when I was a kid.
I did it when I was a kid.
I think caves are so cool.
Oh, this one was a cool one.
And there's a ton of them in Missouri.
Right, there's tons of caves here. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's all the bluffs. I mean, they just.
Mm-hmm. There's caves. There's caves close to my house.
I was gonna say, is there really?
Yeah.
Have you ever went in any of them?
It's actually
Have you spelunked?
No. The one that I'm thinking of is actually right along the Katy Trail. Like you're 20 feet away from it if you're on the Katy Trail.
That's cool.
I mean, everything was formed by the
the river.
The glacier.
Well, that's the other thing is I'm not sure if I'm not so sure that it's a natural cave or if it was a cave that was built back when the Katy Trail was a railroad track.
Gotcha.
That may be what it is too.
Yeah, that could be.
So. But yeah, I mean, and to talk about another thing that we have right in our backyard that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it takes me 2 minutes to get there.
There's a lot to do here.
How long is that? I
think it pretty much goes from St. Louis to Kansas City. I think right?
So. I'm thinking it goes. Yeah, I'm thinking it goes the entire state too. But for the trail itself,
yeah, it's. I actually just me and the wifey went out there and rode bikes maybe about a month ago. We rode like 20 miles.
Where'd you guys stop at?
We started at
20 miles.
We started in Harrisburg.
The Katy Trail is 240 miles.
Was I right? Is it basically St. Louis to Kansas City, or is it? Am I getting my direction?
It's the country's longest recreational rail trail. It runs 240 miles, largely along the northern bank of the Missouri River.
Right.
On the former Missouri-Kansas Railroad.
So if it follows the Missouri River, then it would be St. Louis to Kansas City.
Yeah, it goes the entire length.
Because if you drive out to Herman on 90...
Or 94, you
mean?
Or
94, I mean.
Yeah.
You'll pass by, like, here and there. I mean,
yeah, you'll see the Katy Trail a lot. Yeah, and you'll also see the Missouri River a lot.
Correct.
There's a lot of really, really great wineries that go along Highway 94.
Yeah.
And if you ever are going, say you're going to St. Louis to catch a baseball game, you're coming from around here, Highway 94 is a lot more scenic way to get there.
It's a beautiful view, yeah.
Very much so, especially in the fall.
Every time, like, my friends would come in, and I'd pick them up from the airport, and on our way back, I would cut off and then come down 94.
Yeah.
Just to show them, like, some of the back roads of Missouri.
How pretty it is.
It's gorgeous, man. Mm-hmm. You forget where you're at.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it runs from St. Charles all the way to Clinton.
Okay. So
up and down.
St. Charles is basically St. Louis.
Yeah, well, it's north of St. Louis.
Yeah. Is it north?
Northwest.
That's cool though.
Yeah, Northwest.
That's a cool thing to have here.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you guys go out there often?
I want to ride the Katy. I don't have a bike for it yet.
Yeah, you should come riding with me and the wife sometime, dude.
Yeah, I want to do that. Though.
You guys should too, Matt. Do you guys have bikes or anything?
Yeah, we have bikes.
Yeah,
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
We should do that sometime. Yeah, the other day
I'm gonna show up in my bicycle spandex shorts.
Hey, we were talking
extra firm bulge.
I'm just gonna put a sock down there.
Well, dude, that was the worst
Damn,
part.
Matt.
That was the worst part of riding 20 miles. It wasn't the pedaling, it was my butt, dude. Holy moly.
Right.
I told you guys remember our old friend Isaac that we used to work with?
Yeah.
So Isaac
That's where I came up with my
Isaac came out to my house once, and we rode and we hit the Katy Trail together. But man,
Just
when he showed up to my house, man, he was decked out in the biker shorts and all of that, man.
Can you catch the Katy Trail from your house? Like, you just ride.
I remember
I
when
could
we
if I
rolled,
wanted to.
when we
your
rolled
house?
up to your place.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, when we rolled up, we crossed it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you rode what, 20 some odd miles? Did you ride under that? I know there's somewhere in the rock where there's a tunnel in it, and you ride through the tunnel. Were you there?
No, we started in Hartsburg and ended up at Cooper's Landing.
I know where you're at.
Which is a little farther.
Don't they do stuff at Cooper's Landing though?
Yeah, they have bands and stuff out there. They didn't have any bands out there the day that I was there, but they also had some good food out there too.
I was actually out there, I think, in May sometime.
Mm-hmm.
It was our friend's birthday, so we ate their dinner here in Jeff. We drove out there.
Yeah, it's a cool spot, man.
It's a cool spot,
It's a neat little
dude.
spot. Right over the water.
Oh, it's a great view.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I may have even played there a time or two in the past. I'm not sure.
It's a good vibe out there.
feel
Really
like
good vibe.
Yeah, it feels like a good vibe.
I've played at a lot of those places on the river and like wineries and stuff too.
How many places have you played and forgotten about?
Boy, I done forgotten more than you'll ever know. I had a lot of like regular places, but there was another. I used to play with Bobby Showers. I still play with Bobby from time to time.
Yeah, that's a great band he's got
You
going
and Bobby
on, man.
have great chemistry, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
You guys.
Bobby's
are
a
good.
talented guy.
You guys
For
are
sure.
good.
For sure, man. I always enjoy. I always enjoyed playing with him, But shit, what was I going to talk about? Before him, or actually, kind of simultaneously. For a while, there was another guy that I used to play with named Mick Bird, and he's like a retired gym teacher from
Sounds like
That's cool.
Kick-ass
from Vienna,
rock and roll
Missouri.
name, though.
No shit.
Yeah, I know, and that's his real name too.
I am Mick Bud.
But me and-
Fuck you, I'm Mick Bud. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a man's name right there.
and he was all originals, like he never played any covers.
Pass me the bourbon, cause I'm Mick Bud.
That's right.
Hey, you got a problem?
He
My
was
name's
actually
Nick
like he's a
Bud.
pretty
Hey, man.
strict Catholic, like he doesn't drink.
I slept in that chandelier last night. You have no excuse to not be here on time for band practice.
That's the complete opposite of
Did
Mick
you
Bird.
walk across the hot coals? Because I did.
Cause I'm Mick effing Bud.
But that was where we used to play at, man. We used to do wineries most of the time, and I definitely cannot remember all the wineries.
Wineries are great here, man.
There's tons
you
of
got
wineries
You got a
here,
nice
yeah.
band going, and the weather's perfect.
Yeah.
There's a good vibe.
And it seems like no matter where you go, there's a great winery around.
Yeah,
And
there's a
everyone's
lot
out
of
to have a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a winery on the way, and the name of it escapes me, on the way to the lake. And they always have giant acts.
St. James?
Is it St. James?
Yeah.
I don't think it's St. James.
No, St. James is the other way.
Yeah, that's towards
No,
Rolla. sorry.
it's one on the way to the lake, though. But they always have this great big billboard, and they get enormous names in country music.
cool.
And it's like, this is at a winery.
Oh,
this is
I
amazing.
think I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the.
Just off the top of my head, I can't think of the
Yeah,
name,
I should
but-
know the place too,
Yeah.
but I don't.
Yeah, well, if you go to the lake, you'll see it.
Yeah.
And 90% of people here go to the lake. Okay, let me ask you two dudes.
Yeah.
Do you guys enjoy the lake? Or is it just lake in general? Are you lake or are you river people?
I'm more of a river guy.
Yeah, me too, for sure, dude. I mean, you go out on the lake, and we're talking the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
If you go out there, especially on Labor Day or those certain 4th of July, man, everybody's packed in there like sardines. It's
Right.
dangerous. There's tons of people that are drunk.
STD Cove.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, I would much rather, if I'm gonna be out on the water, like take me to like the Osage River.
Just ready to float, huh?
Yeah, man.
You, a beer barge, and a canoe, or inner tube.
One of my favorite things to do. I had a buddy that I hung out with who had a boat for a couple summers. We would go out to the Osage River access, the Mariosa access, which is kind of like on the way to Lynn or on the way to Raleigh.
right where that's at.
Yeah,
Sure.
We would go
I
out
don't know
there.
how to get to that though. I never
right
figured
on the
out
highway.
how to get that.
Oh no, it's easy. I'll show you. But we would go out there. We would take a boat. He had an old like piece of shit boat, but it worked. when we would go to the access, we would go right, and if you go down there a couple miles, there's an old dam there.
Yeah.
And we would always go up to the old dam and hit the sandbar.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd bring the guitar.
Heck yeah.
We'd always bring some drinks and just sit there and chill on the sandbar.
That's the way to do it.
99% of the time, we were the only people there.
That's awesome.
I'll take that over being in a crowd.
We just went and floated on the Gasconade last weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
In the first couple hours, it was just pouring rain, but it was worth it.
You know,
we had some overcast
Right, that's
midday,
not
and
bad
then
at all.
it got hot and sunny towards the end.
But you want it to be a little
But it was
sunny.
great. It was
Yeah.
great.
Did you
man.
guys camp out and stuff too, or?
No, we did not camp out, but people do camp out down that way.
Yeah. Gasconade River's beautiful too, man.
It is. It's very windy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's another thing. We're very lucky here, living here in Mid-Mo in Jeff City. We have access to all that. We're within 20, 30 minutes of that.
It's the only river that starts from the south, actually, because everything else runs from the Missouri or the Osage.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, man.
Yeah,
You're
it's the
making me look like a fool in my own hometown. I should have known that.
A buddy told me that the other day, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know
That's
that.
cool, yeah,
that's
I
pretty
like that.
cool.
That's very interesting because every time I've been on the Gasconade, like it's usually pretty calm.
There's about 10 of us out there.
Yeah,
That's a nice little group, yeah.
Our friend Brian Mamer, who listens to the show, Brian.
What's
it was
up,
a good
dude?
time
Shout
with
out
us.
to
Yeah,
Brian.
What up, Brian?
Eric Mamer,
Brian.
Caleb,
All
my
you
wife,
guys.
all those guys.
Was this some of the same crew that you went down to Osage place?
Some of
with?
the guys that I went down with?
Oh, well, then screw those guys because they locked you out.
Close knit bunch.
What episode was that? 12, 13?
Oh, man.
I can't even remember now.
That was a while ago, yeah.
I think it was 13, but it's the most recent one that we released, right? Or no, it was the
No,
week before that.
it was-
Yeah. Anyways, if
See,
you guys
that's-
haven't listened to that
that's the
episode,
benefit of working ahead. You just lose,
kind of lose track.
You lose it all.
the episode with D Love and his special sauce.
Yeah, it was before that one.
Matt. No, it was
No,
the
it
same
was that one. It
episode.
was that one.
Matt called in for the second
right.
segment of that, and
That's right.
That was
That's
a
the
brilliant
same episode.
So
segment.
then that is literally the last episode we just
The one that
released.
just came out.
Done
Okay.
so many shows since
But
then.
for
you know?
us, that's literally been a month and a half ago.
it's confusing for us.
Right.
Maybe we should do like if there's big news stories that come out, maybe we should.
Oh, we can definitely interrupt our broadcast schedule.
Can
Yeah.
we do live stream broadcasts if we wanted
Coming
to?
up, we're going to be able to. Yes.
Sweet. That'd be cool, man.
I want to get us to where we can like live, like audio and video.
Like over
The
Zoom.
video,
maybe?
the video is going to be a little bit. No,
Yeah.
like we could all be right here and just have
gonna
some
be a
video,
challenge.
like have a video component to it.
Oh, sweet.
And then I also I need to talk to him because I've only mentioned this twice now on the air, but I want to talk to him and see if we can't get JT on the show too. So I want to see if we can't like right now it may
That'd be great.
it may be like 8 in the morning or whatever. You know, we may have to work out like a PM one.
That's Paranormal Sun.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to have him on
Yeah,
for paranormal stuff with him because
You know-
I have some stories.
Right.
and Dave
I would
has
love
some
to.
stories.
And
Yeah.
we could totally promote each other's podcasts.
Absolutely.
For
and
sure.
that's a different aspect for us, and I think that would really, really help him.
I
So-
think we should really try to set
I would
something
love
up
to
with
do
him.
because that guy has honestly, if it wasn't for JT at Tower Studios in Auckland, New Zealand, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. Because that guy
Yeah.
gave me the idea. He shot me Anchor. He shot me Trello that we use all the time.
Yep.
Like all of our big stuff that we're using.
Yeah.
Like I got that from him.
I've been enjoying listening to the podcast.
yeah.
I think I told you last week I listened to the 2 episodes on reincarnation, which is something that we talked about.
He's yeah, I like his stuff too.
I got to say, so how long has JT been in New Zealand?
He's been there a while.
Because
He's been there long enough to pick up the dialect.
That's
'Cause
just what I was gonna say.
I remember him talking normal, like
Yeah.
speaking differently.
he definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't sound like he was born and raised in New
Yeah,
Zealand.
he doesn't sound native,
but he's
does he?
definitely got it going.
But he's totally native because I heard him talking. He has one of his dogs recently got hurt. He's got a wiener dog that had some pinched nerve issues, like most wiener dogs do.
Yeah.
But he was taking care of him, and he was saying in a story that he had to take him to hospital. And I was like, oh my God, you're totally native now.
Yeah.
Because here we'd be like, oh, we're going to take him to the vet.
Right.
He's like, oh, we had to take William to the hospital.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's a horrible accent. I'm
It's very
sorry.
proper.
Right. But yeah, he has the accent. He's lost a little of his American accent.
Yeah. I always find that interesting when somebody has dialect from one part of the world and then they move into a different part of the world.
But
And,
you know what? It's no different than if we were just to uproot and go to Texas.
Well, that's what happened
We'd
to
pick
my-
that Texas up.
That's what happened to my sister, man. So I have a sister that's 7 years older, and she was from Missouri as I am. My dad moved to Wisconsin, and when my sister went to college, she went to Wisconsin. And so she had this weird, like, Southern accent,
Like a drawl?
slash Northern accent.
Yeah.
And then she married a dude from Alabama,
Oh,
so
man.
she's got like South, Midwest, and North all going
We're talking
on.
to the guy right here. What are we talking about? I'm looking right at him,
Yeah,
the dude
for sure.
from Philly.
Every once in a while, that Philly comes
we
out.
totally
It
mellowed
does,
him
but
out.
I'll tell you what, man. Like, there's certain things that I say now. It's very Midwestern.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been at it for about a decade.
Yeah, I've heard some of your
especially when
early
I get
stuff.
drunk. It's like a Philly, Missouri thing.
Yeah, it
it's
always comes
so
out when you
fucked
drink.
up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, what the hell's wrong
He
with
sat
this
there
guy?
quiet the whole time.
Yeah. It always comes out when you drink, man. That's the way it
Always
works.
when you drink.
I was
yeah.
trying to dodge it.
But
When I get drunk, the Philliness comes out.
just
for
hearing
sure.
some of your early stuff though, your accent was wicked pissa.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
were
yeah.
you were out there, man.
Yeah.
You had that thick Philly draw.
Yeah, when I first started in this business, it was very thick.
Yeah, it was
But,
very thick.
So do you catch yourself saying like y'all, stuff like that?
I do say y'all a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I do too. I used
hate
to resist
y'all.
it.
certain vowels like sometimes slip out, and it's very Midwestern, and Sarah be like,
but yeah,
"What is
yeah,
that?" I'd be like, "I don't know."
But he also says stuff like golf.
yeah, I say
Totally,
certain-
he
yeah.
says golf totally from Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I can never break. You know, it's
Yeah.
just a regionalism.
No, I get that.
And, you know, I'm glad I can keep that because
Yeah,
it makes me
absolutely.
unique.
Was
Hey
it?
man, where you from? I'm from Philly, motherfucker.
Who the hell are you?
Shit, get the fuck off my case.
So when you got into radio, like when
Yeah.
when you first got into radio, were you still in Philly at that time?
I was, yeah.
Okay. So then, like when you moved down to Florida, were you really having to try really hard to break yourself of that accent?
But I,
You're
you
probably
know,
an
a lot
asset down there.
a lot of people, not really. I mean, like a lot of people just were like, "Wow, you're from Philadelphia. It sounds like it."
Mm-hmm.
But over time, like I spent 2 years down there. It was more or less just getting my beak wet with what the
Right.
business
Right.
is really about.
Right.
And then I went to Vermont after that. I think
But
living
that-
out, I really
and that would have been completely different than anything else up to that
and
point.
I did great up there, but I feel like I really kind of blossomed out here, you know, as far
Yeah,
as
man.
a professional, but also forming in life as well.
Yeah.
Which
And that's key too.
it is, and I'm very happy. So
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you guys came out here.
yeah, me too, man.
Both of you guys.
I got a
Me
great
too.
wife. I got a
Yeah.
beautiful little girl.
Yeah, you
I
started
can't,
a
I
whole
can't,
family.
I can't ask for much more, man.
No.
Yeah.
I think we're stuck with you now, aren't we? Pretty much. You
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
without-
sorry to say, but yes, you guys are stuck with it.
Without this little stint in Jeff City, we wouldn't have, the family.
Yeah, certain people were asking my mom, like, "Will Matt ever come back?" And
Yeah.
she's like,
Oh,
"No."
really?
I was like, "Damn right, I'm not coming
Yeah,
back."
I've had
You
that.
know?
I've had.
She's
I've had
made
family
peace
Look,
with
say
it.
that,
Philadelphia
too.
will always be my home, man. It will always be home.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this is my home now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you know, Mike and my boy Joey Caputo out there. And
Right.
I always love those guys.
And you're
I'll-
gonna miss them,
and
too.
When I get back, I'll visit. This is life now. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to stop looking in the past and
Right.
just realize what you have in front of you.
See, that's something I've never done. I've pretty much been in Jeff City or within a 30-mile radius of Jeff City
Well,
my whole
that's
life.
the hard thing for people like. Well, for me, I was that guy that never left home.
Yeah.
So I was 30, buying a house.
Pretty scary
having,
for you.
Not. Yes and no. Like I was ready to move.
Sure.
I wanted to move to begin with, but I'd married a woman from
Yeah.
a different town, and she liked my little small town
Yeah.
that
Right.
I was ready to get out of.
Yeah.
So I was like, crap.
A plus for me was because I wasn't even from here. So when Sarah like met me, she was intrigued because no one knows who I am. They don't know my past.
Right.
And then when you grow up in a small town, everyone knows who's been with
As far as
somebody
she's
here.
concerned,
Right.
you're the cool kid from the next.
And I had
the
a
next
Jeep,
town
and
over.
Sarah
Yeah.
loves Jeeps. So I was just
It was
like,
the
hey,
Jeep.
it was the
worked
Jeep
out.
that sold. Man.
Sealed the deal, man.
She had a beautiful dog that I fell in love with, and I had the Jeep that she fell in love with, and then
You want to know
we
how?
just started to love each other after that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You want to know how I knew my wife was a keeper? I was skimming through, this is like 12 years ago or so. So this was back when people were mainly listening to CDs. So you see these people carrying around these big
God,
ass
yeah.
CD cases, and I skimmed
Got
through
one
there.
on the floor, actually.
I saw a copy of Kanye West Late Registration.
Wow.
Oh,
I'm
that
sorry.
was when I knew.
that's when you knew.
That was when I knew it was true love.
Yeah. Like Sarah, I can always count on Sarah to have my back,
Yeah.
and she brings structure to my life. Like I was just
Yeah.
a complete mess, like unorganized mess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be the person I am today. That's for sure.
I got my
Same,
She
dude.
helped me
She's
with my
always-
credit. She helped me with my teeth.
Right, she's always
Same,
got my
Z.
back.
Tons of stuff, man.
Yeah, dude. If my credit has gone way up since
Yeah,
I
because
met
they
my wife.
control it, and that's
Total,
perfectly
yeah.
fine. Because I hate dealing with finance
I'm
stuff.
the same way too, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same.
I dislike the finances as well.
Yeah.
Mhm. But I need to take the time to go in and learn some of that shit just in case something bad
Eventually,
happens.
yeah.
You don't ever want to think about anything bad happening.
To be fair, though, we're guys. We're probably going to go first. You know,
that's kind of what I'm
She
thinking.
knows how much money I have in my checking account
more than
I do.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, whatever.
I
I'll just
feel like
run
I'm
it.
my dad at
And
that point
she
because
knows.
I can walk up and go, "Do we have enough to do this?"
Right, me too. Yeah.
Fingers crossed behind your back. Wait till next week.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, you got that. Okay, let's. All right.
I know. It's like asking my mom to give me a few bucks to go play to the arcade.
Yeah. Marriage is a partnership, man. It's,
And will you drive me to the arcade?
Right.
there's a lot of give and take.
So do you guys still have separate bank accounts? Do you
I mean, we have our separate bank accounts, but she has access to my money.
Yeah.
And it's my money's her money.
We completely combined when we moved here. We had separate, but not anymore.
You know, still to this day, I've been married for 10 and a half years now. Still almost 11 years. Still to this day, I still have my old checking account that I had before we were married.
Yeah.
But I'm actually like just recently, I've been thinking like I need to just close that account. Like, there's I don't really need it.
So I've had my checking account since I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, me too.
So
basically.
we kept my checking account and I added her because I had more like check numbers.
Yeah.
Because that was back when check numbers meant something.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember walking in a place to pay with check and they'd be like, "Oh, it has to be over check number 3,000." And so I'd be like, "Oh, I'm at check number 5." So my next check said just 3,005.
No.
Yeah.
You know, who cares?
Sloan has an account too now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
kids have accounts.
I think mine do too.
She has an account with the local credit union.
Good.
So,
But when they're little like that, like if you need to get diapers and stuff, I never had a problem dipping into that to get diapers.
Yeah, well, we don't.
And, you know,
I,
if you absolutely had to, but
Yeah.
you
I
put
don't.
it back.
Same
I don't
here.
dip into it at all.
You put it
It was
back.
started by my dad.
But
so.
if you need to, that's what it's there
Yeah.
for, you know.
The
I'm
kids
not
have a
going to do
little.
that,
They
though.
have like a little piggy bank.
And God forbid they get sick,
Yeah.
you know, that's perfect for that too.
Yeah.
I've been known to grab a buck or two out of the piggy bank, but
Oh,
it's
piggy bank's-
only when I
Piggy bank's
absolutely have
different
to.
though. Yeah.
A quarter or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a quarter
fine.
here, a dollar
50
there.
50
Yeah.
cents.
Just a little bit of green in there, you know.
Yeah.
They got a
you
few
know.
$2 bills in there too.
Oh, yeah. My wife worked at a bank for a while. Andy worked at a bank, and so we have a lot of $2.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah,
I like that's something you don't see anymore. Like you remember the old guys would walk up and give you like a what were they, the half dollars?
Yeah, the $half. Yeah.
The Kennedy.
Do they
Yeah,
still
the
make-
Kennedy.
do they still
I don't
make
think
those?
they make those anymore.
I think so,
We
yeah.
were at the Covered Bridge Market just outside of town here, and they have a bunch of old timers come in and play. They had a dude straight up playing a wash tub. It was great, loved it. And one of the old dudes walked up and gave my kids those.
Nice.
That's what got
See?
me thinking about that. Like that never happens anymore.
Yeah.
And it happens here.
Yeah.
They do that every Saturday. I love it.
My grandpa had a bunch of really cool old coins like that. It's always like for the kid, it's something
Right.
that usually they've never seen before.
But now kids, they're like, "What the hell is that?"
Mm-hmm.
And then my kids are ready to spend it.
Oh
Well-
yeah, they're. Yeah, let's go buy
So
something.
what can I
Dad.
get for 50 cents, Dad?
right.
Nothing.
Yeah, get a
Sorry.
couple suckers from the gas
Right.
station.
Nothing.
Well, there's
I'll sell
one.
you a
There's
rock.
something that
Yeah.
has gone out of existence is the penny candy store.
Yes. There is no more thing.
No, it's not a thing
It's not a
anymore.
thing anymore.
You go in there with $1 and you're
Dave
like
doesn't even remember
living
penny
the life.
candy. Are you
don't?
serious?
Wow,
there were
we've
actual
really dated ourselves.
Damn, we
Scott.
are old.
So these are actual stores that were called penny candy stores.
So for me, we had this because I was in a community of like maybe 300 back in the day, maybe, and we had this little itty bitty grocery store, right? You could get little deli counter and you could rent a movie and whatever. Well, they had a whole section of nothing but like, you know, like Dum Dums that you get at a bank,
Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie
stuff,
Rolls,
yeah.
and they were called penny candies.
Mhm.
And you'd get one piece for 1 penny.
Yeah.
So you roll in there with $1, man, you were riding high.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a place around the corner from where I grew up at, and on the way to school, I mean, you have 50 cents. I
Yeah.
mean, you're killing it.
You were
with
loaded.
50 pieces of candy. Hell yeah.
Yeah, you were
You
banging.
trade that off as barter.
See, I think
You
like the
know?
lowest price I remember is maybe like 5 cents.
I remember going in and getting like maybe 50 pieces, right? And then
Yeah.
taking the other to go hit on some, because we had a payphone in town too. So we'd go like, you know, call the operator and hit on her.
So I told you guys before, my mom used to drop me off at the mall, you know, and give me like $3 and I'd play Mortal Kombat all night. So of course this is before like the cell phone days.
Oh, yeah.
So what I would do when I ran out of money or like if the mall was about to close, I would walk over to the payphone and I would dial 1-800-COLLECT.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they
I do
tell you
remember
to
that.
say your name, I would say, "Come get me," and hang up the phone. And my mom would come
We
and
did
get
that
me.
too.
Nice.
We did that shit every night.
That's
You have
cool.
a call from 1-800-COLLECT.
Yep.
It's Scott, come get me, I'm tired.
Yeah.
No.
Boy, those were the days, weren't they?
Dude, I do remember though, like you go into that penny candy store.
Yeah.
It's like, I want 100 pieces of this, or like you do 25 of this. But the lady be like, all right, here's 2, 4,
Oh,
6.
you had that lady.
And she was just counting.
Mine never
out.
cared.
I was like,
She'd be like, just grab a couple handfuls. I don't care.
no, this
about
lady
candy.
counted out.
Oh,
She was
I'm
hardcore.
sorry,
man.
2, 4, 6,
She was the
8, 10,
she was the
12.
Gestapo of Tootsie Rolls.
you will have no more Tootsie Rolls.
There's more Swedish fish. That was my thing.
No Tootsie
Yeah,
Rolls
you would have
for
had this. What else? Because you would have had different
It
candies up
was
there.
Swedish fish. It was also
Did you get the Mike and Ike's?
the Mike and Ike's. I think were a thing then.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Now
remember-
and Laters.
I remember those showed up.
Sour
and they were
Patch Kids.
disgusting.
Yeah, I still love
Yes,
Sour Patch
I love
Kids.
those things
Yeah.
were.
They usually sell those still at movie theaters. I
Yeah,
think.
well, they did last time it was open.
Yeah, maybe they'll start. So is the movie theater literally opening up again tonight? Is that
From
you
what
said?
from what Andrea was telling me, it opens up either tonight or next.
I'll have to drive
Friday.
by there.
I think
on
it's
my way
next
home.
Friday.
But it's supposed to be opening up like
Yeah.
soon.
Sweet.
I'm pretty sure it's next Friday
Is
because
it?
tickets are 15 cents.
I don't know if it is at this one or not.
It is.
I don't know.
It's
Is it?
nationwide, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Way back
Cool.
in the day, Holt Summit had a movie theater.
I
And
know,
it
I was there.
Yeah.
It was a similar
Like
deal.
couches and shit in there.
Really?
It was weird, dude.
That's
Yeah.
cool though.
I was like, should I sit down on this chair?
So we have
Right.
a family back home that started taking over all the local movie theaters, and they did just that. Like
Yeah.
the first, like the back rows and the first rows, they put couches in, and you can come in.
Have you guys been to
for
Ragtag?
for $5, you got soda and popcorn with your movie.
Nice.
It was amazing.
I've been to the Ragtag.
I have
and
not been to the
It's pretty
Ragtag.
cool, but I
You guys gotta go.
sat on a chair that was very uncomfortable.
Really?
Like my ass was just hurting.
Yeah.
Like the second
Well,
hour
that
of this
sucks.
movie.
That's what I saw when I was there, because I tried to hang a poster in the Ragtag Bakery, but they were closed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a bummer. They were closed.
Well, one of the cool things about Ragtag is you can order a drink.
Oh, someone's knocking.
I think someone's knocking at the door. So with that, we'll take a break.
It's our cue.
That's our cue.
All
And
right.
We'll be back right
Call
after
or
this.
text the Old 77 listener line at 573-246-0779. Help ensure future episodes by becoming a sponsor today. To find out how, email the Old 77 podcast at gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Old 77. It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world, Dave.
Yes.
Dave was poised and ready to jump. He was ready to pounce like Panther.
I'm
Like Panther?
I'm trying, man. It's all right, though. I'm not mad at you.
We were talking earlier if we have a Patreon page, so you can go to patreon.com/theold77podcast, and we have multiple tiers where you can become a subscriber of the show. We have a $50 tier, and Matt and I have both. We've said before, we're in broadcasting, we're in radio, we make commercials for a living. We can help you out on your business,
Yes.
any kind of commercial, live read.
It's a great deal.
We're gonna try it now with Dave. Dave does,
I teach guitar.
and Dave has his own little ad. So you could have something like this.
You could have, hey, did you get a new guitar for Christmas? Are you trying to learn how to play? What about a ukulele? You want to learn how to play the ukulele? Guess
I would,
what?
yeah.
Guess what?
Me.
I can teach you. I can teach you.
Dave said something the other day that blew me away, and I totally believe it. Within 30 minutes, he can have you playing ukulele.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I try to make it as simple as possible because, you know, not everybody wants to go deep into music
Right.
theory. Like most people just want to learn how to play songs around the campfire. Maybe they want to learn how to write their own songs. If you
And-
come to me, we'll hit the ground running. We'll have you playing songs. If not by the end of the first lesson, for sure, second lesson.
And how can we contact you?
You can contact. So I work at the Jefferson City Music Academy. So for people that are in the Jeff City area, it's on Southwest Boulevard, right behind the Entertainer, kind of across from the Healthplex.
Yes.
So you can give us a call at 634-5872. So I teach on Monday and Thursday nights. I'm totally booked up on those nights. So I just opened up my Wednesday nights to teach.
So we have Wednesday night available.
Wednesdays are open. I've got one student from 5 to 5:30, but after 5:30, I'm open.
And pump that number again.
Hit me up. It's at 634-5872. Give us a call. You'll talk to either Carla or Helen, and we'll give you all the deets.
There you go.
I'd love to meet you.
Dave is also on Facebook.
Yes.
DM him.
Yeah,
DM him.
Yeah, DM
absolutely.
me. Absolutely.
And we're on Facebook as
And
well.
don't send dick pics, please.
Not anymore.
So threw me on that one. So okay, man. If you wanna, if
My boss is going to be so mad.
I love that. Not anymore. So if you'd like to become a sponsor of the show, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/the old77podcast. You can also call the listener line. It is area code 573-246-0779.
That's right. Hit us up on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, all that we read earlier.
Yeah.
All that
stuff. You probably found us already.
We're literally wherever you find your podcast.
If you can't find
and
us.
share it with your friends.
Yeah, share us.
Family.
Interact with us. Talk with us on social media.
Yeah.
We like to talk.
Call the listener line.
Yeah.
Leave us messages.
Yeah, interact with us if you don't like something that we said, or maybe you know something about Jeff City that we don't know.
Yeah.
Feel free to call us at
We wanna hear it.
573-246-0779.
Your dog is passed out over here.
Oh, my dog loves it down here. This is her happy place.
I think she's smiling.
Maggie is the official dog of the old 77.
We need to throw Maggie up on Instagram. and
Absolutely.
Facebook
Maybe
and all
we'll
that
get her
stuff.
smiling here.
We'll do that right
I got to
away.
bring Juno over here. To play with her.
Absolutely, man. Those two would have fun.
Yeah.
That's it for us this week. We will see you guys next week.
Yes.
That was the old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world. Help ensure future episodes by becoming a sponsor today. To find out how, email the old 77podcast@gmail.com.